looking at you and hearing your story, I feel like you would crush it as a real estate agent. Why haven't you became one?
I was on probation for a long time, couldn't get a job. I couldn't even get an apartment in a nice area. People could take anything from you. They can take money, they can steal, they can take your girlfriend. Like, they can take things from you, but they can't take what you know.
Were you born in a rich family?
Absolutely not.
Was your family in real estate though?
No.
You're real focused on real estate. Are you focused on anything else, or is that all your mind's into?
I had 2 multi-million-dollar companies at one time before I ended up just going all real estate. So
right now we have a guy, his name is Bob. He has no credit, he has no income. Can he get into wholesaling?
There's ways that you can get into wholesaling, but you have to have that work ethic and that drive because it's not easy.
So today I'm sitting with one of the top real estate investors in Dallas-Fort Worth, and he has built a multi-million-dollar company with rehabbing, flipping, and wholesaling real estate. He became a millionaire by the age of 23 years young and is crushing it in real estate with an army behind him working for his company. Now guys, listen close to this. Donovan Ruffin, which is him right here, has flipped 350 deals, not in 5 years, not in 10 years, not in 20 years. In 14 months, 350 deals he has flipped. That is so impressive. He is not someone that just talks, but he is somebody who plays the game, is in the game, and is dominating the game currently. Donovan, thank you so much for your time, brother. I appreciate it. His time is very precious. He's very busy, but he was able to make some time for all of us, for me and for you, to give us his knowledge and his wisdom. So we all over here thank you, and we appreciate that.
Yeah,
Are you excited?
I'm excited.
You ready for this?
I'm ready.
All right, we're going to hop right into it. Donovan, we're going to be asking you some questions in the beginning just to feel you out so everybody who's watching right now can not have an excuse in life. Usually people, what it is they watch videos, but they always say, oh, this person had it lucky, or this person had it easy whenever he was young, or he was handed it to him. Yeah. So I want to kind of clear that in the beginning before we get into the video so whoever's watching can have no excuses.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right? So what we have going is I'm going to get comfortable real quick. And we're going to get right into the question, which is, were you born in a rich family?
Absolutely not. No. So my parents ended up splitting up when I was around like 10 years old.
Oh, you were young.
Yeah, so it's like, I mean, I have like slight memories, obviously. I mean, that was like a long time ago, like 15 years ago, So, times haven't always been easy, growing up with a single mom. She had 4 kids. So she was working 2 jobs. And,
oh, you weren't the only sibling?
No, absolutely not.
Wow.
So, I guess like by the time I was 13, I started working, so I can earn some money so I can actually buy things that I wanted. My mom, we weren't like...
By what age?
We weren't like dirt poor. I was 13 when I got my first job. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Funny,
so you were
like
hustling.
It was like a construction job, with like family friends and stuff like that. So that's when I first got like a taste. It's like, man, if I actually work for something, I actually get paid money, So
100%. So your family, they weren't rich. Was your family in real estate though?
No. My dad did some real estate before the last correction in 08, but I mean, it wasn't like anything that I have like full knowledge over. It's just handed the baton and here it is.
Yeah, it wasn't like what you're doing right now.
Right.
So you were not the only sibling. You have 3 others, including you 4.
Well, I have my dad's second marriage. He has 2 more, so I have 5 siblings. So there's 6 of us total.
Gotcha. Okay. Did you go to college?
I did some college. Yeah. Some community college, and then
you just wrapped up with it after that. You didn't go all the way through. Is there a reason for that?
Yes. Like I closed one of my biggest deals actually before I actually quit college. I was waiting for the check to clear because like once you clear a big check and your account's not used to having that type of money in your account, it takes like a couple weeks to clear actually. So it's like bank's like waiting for you to.
I see.
Or it's like, do we trust this guy? Or like, what's going on here? Is this fraudulent? Because it's like unbelievable. Even banks see that. So I ended up clearing like $30,000 on one deal, and I literally just walked.
Was it a flip, a wholesale, a rehab?
It was a flip.
That's awesome. Rehab, That's a huge point I want to touch on for everybody who's watching is when you're in college and you say, I want to drop out of college to go pursue my dreams or my passions and such, you got to have something going for you already before you drop out in order to drop out. Right? Donovan's saying that he had a $30,000 check that was waiting to be cleared. He saw from that 30K, he's just going up from there. And that was his reason to quit. A lot of people, bro, what they try to do is they try to quit and then find what it is that they want to do. And I feel like the way you did it was the right route. Me, when I was in college, I was flipping houses, and every check, I was like, why am I still in school? What's the point of it? So it's kind of the same concept. So I do vibe with that on you. And everything that you have right now with you, the company that you have, the success that you've built, It didn't happen overnight, right?
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, I've been in the real estate game for a little over 5 years now, so
Nice.
it hasn't been easy. You know, obviously learning certain systems, certain marketing aspects, and but like once you see success and you start tracking your success, you see where the success comes from, and you just add juice to that. You know, so.
Okay, and you didn't. Nobody came to you and said, "Here's $1 million. Start your business."
No, absolutely not. I'm the
It
one.
was-
It's like, hey, here's $1 million. Teach me the business. You know?
Oh, so you're the one who's paying people to learn the business.
Well, I mean,
You want it to basically, like, people think that they just have to get it handed to them, or they can just keep getting on free knowledge. But right now, the knowledge you're giving us is free. You're giving
it's
it,
free.
but that's
It's
worth millions that you had to
Yeah.
go through, and the struggles and the experiences you had to go through.
Absolutely.
So I do see what you're saying on that. So that's to clear the air for everybody on college, on family and such. He didn't get handed the money. He started it by himself. He's been hustling since he was 13. $30,000 check cleared, and that's what made him get out of college. Because once you see that type of money,
Yeah.
it's just uphill from there. Because
Yeah.
once you do it once, you can keep repeating, right?
Yeah, it's just a belief factor, you know. And I was just in class. I was like, I mean, I remember it was I forgot what class it was, but I was literally in class with my textbook. And back at the time, it was like textbooks are expensive. It's like, man, I gotta go sell some clothes or some shoes to even buy textbooks, you know. So I ended up leaving my textbook in class and just walked out, you know. I was like, I'm never gonna use it. Like I'm making more than the teacher that's teaching me, you know. So I'm in the wrong room.
Yeah.
And I just walked out of class and I just felt free. You know, I felt like I believed in myself more than anything, that I could achieve anything just because of what happened. You know, so but yeah, it took like 6 or 7 deals in order to get like that big pop and that.
So you had some small checks before that, kind of warmed you up to that big check?
Right. Yeah.
And when you started it, was it just you learning how to do it, or you had somebody who was kind of guiding you to do it? How did you get your feet into it? There's a lot of people who want to flip, want to rehab, want to wholesale, but they're wondering how. For me, I had a mentor for about 2-3 months. That's how I got into it.
Yeah.
He kind of showed me the ropes and ended up just kind of drifting apart.
Yeah.
For you, how was that just starting out?
Well, it's a funny story. So I went to when I started high school here in Texas. I had a buddy. He's not like the popular kid, but he's about his money, so we surrounded ourselves with each other. And then after college, like we started this little like mentorship group or like mastermind.
Nice.
And he was like, "Well, let's just start real estate." And then everybody's like, "Okay, yeah, let's start real estate." And then he was one of the people to like step forward. It's like and actually do a deal. And his first deal was actually like 18,000. And then once I saw that, I had like this internal belief. It's like, man, if this guy can do it, so can I. So it's just like. I surrounded myself with him. It's like, how do I do this? How do I do this? How do I do this? And we were close enough where he was just like helping me out.
He was a friend of yours?
Yeah, he works with us now. He's our operating officer, our chief operating officer.
Wow.
He's in like the next office right now.
Oh, so he's like right
there. Yeah, Prince.
That is awesome. So you and him kind of built that mastermind, and then he did his deal, and then you kind of learned from that deal that he did, and you just took off on your own.
Yeah, I was like, how'd you do this? Like, I don't care how hard it is, or just give me instructions, you know. What type of person it's like, I don't need motivation, I don't need to be pushed, I just need instructions. You see what I'm saying? It's just like, I'm hungry and I'm ambitious, but I just need like the right blueprint. So he guided me through the first couple deals, and I mean, we still do business to this day, you know. So
that's so impressive. You're not about just what's the easy route. It's just tell me how to do it and I'll take it from there.
Exactly.
It's that hard process, but you're willing to go through it.
Right.
Now, is wholesaling a part-time thing that you think people could do?
Absolutely. You know, obviously started off in real estate wholesaling, and I had a job at the time. I was in door-to-door sales, so I was literally spending the time outside of work, and I worked 12 hours a day.
Oh, you were doing door-to-door?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah, I was in door-to-door
So you were
sales.
like, how old were you when you were doing that?
I started when I was 18.
18 years old, nice.
Yeah, so.
And then you did that for a couple years, for a couple months. How did that work out?
Yeah, so I actually started door-to-door sales when I was 18. I actually started my own door-to-door sales company at 20. That's right around the time I got into real estate, and then I was investing my profits and commissions into the real estate market.
So you were making good money from door to door?
Oh yeah, it was.
it
wasn't the best money, but $1,200-$1,500 a week is pretty good at 18 years old, you know. So.
And you were doing college at the same time, or
I was in college too. So.
So you were college, you were door to door, you were learning wholesaling, you were just doing it all.
Yeah, I was hungry, I was ambitious, you know. I didn't grow up with much, and I wanted a better life, so you got to work. So.
100%. So that you had that kind of drive on the inside of you that you needed to make something happen because you didn't have nothing at that time.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I feel blessed, you know, and I see. People take like the trials and tribulations they go through in their life as an excuse. I see it as an advantage just because, you know, my mom had to work really hard, like 16-hour days for months on end, and hard labor jobs, and she kind of like instilled the belief, because it's like the expectations, it's like this is what you have to do in order to be successful if you want to survive and live a good life. So she kind of led that, and she's been my inspiration ever since then. So now if I see myself working 12, 14-hour days, it's like really nothing, because my mom, up to a couple years ago, she was working 16 hours, you know, so it's helped dramatically with that work ethic sense and what's necessary in order to get to the next level.
You think your parents are impressed with you?
Yeah, for sure.
Are they happy?
Yeah, my mom hasn't worked in a couple years, so she should.
Really? She better be happy, right?
Yeah, no, I love her to death, So.
That's awesome, dude. So do you think that they've always seen something within you? They've always believed in you? Were they supportive as you were growing up? I mean, your mom was a single mom. Was she there pushing you, motivating you? Was she telling you no, finish college? What was her insight on that?
Yeah, I grew up in Ohio, so it's just like the aspect to actually get to successful is go to college, get a good job, and or work at like a machine type job or some type of specific labor type of work, and that's just how I was raised. So the expectations that she had, and I was a problem child. I'm very aggressive.
I got you.
Just a lot of bickering back and forth. I hate being controlled. I hate being told what to do, and I guess that's why I'm an entrepreneur now. But she's always been the type of just like, hey, if you want something, you got to go work for it. And same with my dad. And I'm super thankful for that, because they instilled it's just like, if you want something, you got to go earn it. Nothing was just handed to me, so I appreciate my parents for that. But they've always been supportive, and like, yeah, when you first start something, and your parents love you, just rightfully so. Sometimes if they haven't seen success in themselves or somewhere else, they're gonna have doubts, because they love you and they want to protect you. So yeah, sometimes mom's like, why don't you go get a real job? You can get real insurance. Why are you doing sales? You got to pay taxes and stuff like that. She just didn't understand.
Yeah.
And then, once she sees that success, she's like, okay, then this is what you're meant to do. This is what works for you, and just stick with it and just keep going.
I mean, they say that stuff because they're looking after you, because they want the best for you. A lot of people misunderstand that and say, oh, my parents don't understand me. They're just looking for what's the secure route for you. And then as the hustler you are, the entrepreneur you are, you got to just keep pushing on that, and then let the results talk.
Exactly.
Too many people, especially people who are watching this video, and it was me at a point where it was just keep on explaining to people and pitching to people how you're going to succeed, rather than showing them how you're going to succeed. And I feel like that's what you've done, is you just kept being persistent with it, and then your numbers started to show.
Exactly.
Right? When you start cashing those checks, you start showing the people the results coming in. I think that's whenever they start to believe in, as your mom started to see that, she started to believe in it a little bit more, which is awesome. So right now we have a guy, his name is Bob, somewhere in this world. He has no credit, he has no income, he has no cash. He doesn't know too much about real estate. He's a little bit confused. Can he get into wholesaling? Can he get into flipping, into rehabbing? Wholesaling, I know you don't really need that much stuff up front. What's your input for that person who's watching right now?
Yeah, so I guess I get that question a lot, so I'm just going to keep it straight with everybody in the entire audience. Is nothing that is earned comes free. Like, everybody has a mindset where they want something for nothing. You have to pay dues. So if you don't have money, you have to pay that value in another aspect. So what worked for me is just that work ethic attribute. There's ways that you can get into wholesaling and real estate with like literally no money, but you have to have that work ethic and that drive, because it's not easy.
Yeah.
For me, how I got my first couple of deals is just bandit signs, and they weren't even bandit signs. You guys see on the side of the streets, like, we buy houses. I was that guy.
Oh, so on the side of the road, how they got we buy houses, you had your stuff up there?
Yeah, but mine were poster boards from Walmart, and I would cut them in half and take a permanent marker, and I put we buy houses on it, and I would nail them to trees, because I didn't have a lot of money.
Yeah, bandit signs aren't too cheap, especially when you got to keep putting them out.
Right, and it's just like, I did that consistently for months, like 6-7 months, before I could like scale it to I didn't hire somebody else to land. But I was outside on Friday all night. Like, you can ask my old roommates, you can ask anybody. I was hustling. I was working the night shift on Friday night, just laying bandit signs. And I
kind of strategizing where you're going to put them.
Yeah, and I learned it's like, and then when I hired somebody to lay them, I knew exactly how to coach them, just because I went through that process.
That is awesome, man. So bandit signs took you. Do you saw results from them?
Yeah, we still do bandit signs.
Till today? Really? So I might drive around and see one of your signs?
Yeah, we buy houses, call Maria, you probably see them all the time.
That's awesome. So that's one of the marketing techniques of whatever you're doing right now, whether it's flipping, wholesaling, whatever it might be. Now, I know you wholesale a lot, I know you flip a lot and so forth. Now, if you get a wholesale deal that you like, that has some great margins, do you ever decide to, instead of wholesale it, just keep it in-house and probably rehab to flip it?
Yeah, so it just kind of depends on the deal. Now that we do our own marketing and wholesaling, I get a lot more conservative, obviously, just because there's a lot more variety of deals. So we're pretty strict on what I buy and what I'm going to take down, but we still pick up like 2 or 3 a month. And just fix and flip them ourselves, or just buy them outright in cash and just list it and call it like a hotel deal.
That is awesome. You said a hotel deal?
Yeah, it's where you basically buy a house as is, and then you sell the house as is, but you actually buy it without wholesaling it. Yeah,
I got you. So just like
list it.
Quick flips.
Yeah.
You think it's worth it to do that rather than just wholesaling?
I mean, it kind of depends on like your angle of business. You know, it's going to cost you money, obviously, to buy it. You know, whether you do hard money, private money, or you buy it in cash versus wholesaling it, where you just don't spend anything. You just assign the contract to somebody else. So.
I got you. You know, looking at you and hearing your story, I feel like you would crush it as a real estate agent. Why haven't you became one?
Well, I mean, quick story. It's I guess I got in trouble in high school. I punched a kid and I ended up catching a felony.
Really?
Yeah. So I couldn't get a real job, so I had to I mean, I obviously didn't want to work like a call center or stuff like that.
Must have been a hard punch to get a felony.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I still feel bad. You know, you make mistakes and you move on and you pay your dues. You know, I had to pay my dues, and I was on probation for a long time. Couldn't get a job. I couldn't even get an apartment in a nice area. So I guess it's
kind of
like
tied you down.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a blessing and a curse. You know, it taught me it's just like you have to be an entrepreneur. You know, and I was kind of forced into that direction if I wanted to actually grow, so I didn't have an option. But yeah, so.
That's awesome, man. So basically, you didn't become a real estate agent because of that.
Oh yeah, so it's not just that, but I ended up taking real estate classes in college, and my professor was actually an investor, and he was basically educating us. It's like if you really, I mean, there's different angles you can take on real estate. I mean, real estate, I mean, there's
a million
all
ways.
types of angles you can hit it, but he was an investor, and he was like, I mean, if you really want to be a serious investor and just do investing, it's not wise to get your license just because there's a lot of red tape you can't cross. Plus, you have to basically disclose everything to the sellers just because you're in their best interest. So I kind of made the decision. It's just like, well, I don't necessarily want to be an agent and just make commission. I want to make profit. You know, I'm an entrepreneur. I want to be able to create my own margins versus have the market.
Tell you 3%, 6%, whatever it might be.
Yeah, but I mean, on the flip side, I did team up with a good team of agents. Now we have an in-house brokerage that we team up, and we still do a bunch of retail deals. It's just I'm not the agent, so.
And it comes back to when you're that CEO, when you're on the top, when you're doing the big things, you don't have to do everything underneath you.
Exactly.
Right. You don't have to do the marketing. You don't have to do the listings. You don't have to do the photography. You're taking care of the top portion. You're outsourcing the other deals. The margins might be a little smaller for you, but that's how you can scale.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
So you got to delegate to elevate. You know, it's.
Can you say that one more time?
You got to delegate to elevate. So
nice.
Like workflows for me, it's like I don't. Like if I do a task, the only reason I'm doing that task is to learn that system, document that system, so I can put somebody else in that seat and free up that time, because time is the most important thing that you have as a CEO or a business owner.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to get that time back. You can make as much money in the world as possible, but you could also lose it. You know, and you can if you do lose it, and being an investor, you lose a ton of money all the time.
Yeah.
It means nothing just because I know I can go make it again. But with time, I can't get my time back. You know, I hate wasting time. It's like one of my biggest pet peeves. So you got to be really efficient with your time. And how I see it is, if I can delegate everything in my business process and put somebody else in that seat and give somebody an opportunity to make money on their own, then I can focus on the next thing that we need to know for our company to move us forward as an entire whole.
I love that. You can focus on what's important to take you to the next level rather than having to focus on the little tasks.
Yeah.
You know, they call them like the $8 an hour jobs, $10 an hour. Why are you going to be doing that, right?
Exactly.
So I love that mindset that you have on there. Now, I heard that there is some title companies, whenever you're wholesaling, that they don't like to deal with wholesale deals. You have any reasoning behind that on why some people are like that?
I mean, some people just don't understand. Like I haven't really experienced that, just because, I mean, once you have a strong network, the title companies don't really care. They actually prefer to work with wholesalers just because they're constantly going to bring up business versus somebody's going to sell their house once or twice in their entire life or an agent.
So you haven't really had that issue with people saying
no,
that?
not really.
I guess you probably built a strong relationship from the start or something.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Can you give everybody who's watching right now a breakdown of a wholesale deal?
Yeah.
How does the wholesale start? How do you find it? How do you get it? And then how do you kind of break it down? You know, in simple steps, nothing too fancy, but just so they can kind of have an idea of this.
So just in summary, a wholesale deal is a type of a transaction where it's a cash transaction. So you find a motivated seller, somebody that's in a distressed situation or in a distressed property, and that they're looking to sell their house for cash and do it fast. And you can play the value add to that individual by acquiring that property and writing a contract at a specific agreed price. And then what you do with that contract that you agreed with the seller is you essentially sell that contract and assign it to a cash buyer or a fix and flipper, and they're going to come in with their cash or their funds, and they're going to blanket the transaction, and you keep the difference. So that's why I love real estate. I mean, regardless, it's a negotiating game. I mean, the better you are at negotiating, the cheaper you can get properties, the more money that you're going to make, just because, markets determine how much you can sell houses for on the wholesale value.
That's awesome. You said it so simple and so good. So you have a house that's $100,000. It's worth $150,000, for example.
Terrible deal.
You what did I say that was?
That's a terrible deal.
Yeah. That's already a terrible deal for you guys. So make sure you guys remember that. But let me say it's for $100,000. They're asking it's worth, let's say $200,000 just to make it a nicer deal. If you get it for $100K and then you sell it to an investor for $120,000, that's your $20,000 margin.
Right.
But if you're a good negotiator, like you were talking about, you can push them to $95K, to $90K, to $85K, and every dollar you save is more money in your pocket. And when you're getting these wholesales, are you thinking of what the investor's going to want to pay for it before you even buy it, so you can make sure you have enough margin for them as well?
Yeah, I mean, I've done over 140 rehabs, so I see what investors see. So you have to understand that, you have to get it at the right price, you know. But on the flip side, it's not about like scamming sellers or anything like that. It's about adding value to them. It's just like anything else. In my business, there's a bunch of overhead. You know, I spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on marketing people and our business model, so we have to cover that cost so we can help more people.
What you have going right now is you're real focused on real estate. Are you focused on anything else, or is that all your mind's into?
So I'm focused on business, honestly. So I mean, I had 2 multi-million-dollar companies at one time before I ended up just going all real estate. So
really, what was the other one?
So I mean, the door-to-door company. So
that's the one you launched, and it went that big.
Yeah, so we had up to 12 offices around the country, hundreds of sales reps, you know, and it was obviously challenging in its own way, but obviously it's hard to kind of chase 2 rabbits when you really want to scale and grow. But it was better for my people that it made the decision to just pick one product, because I see real estate as a product, and I operate my business just like I would any business with any product. You know, you develop systems and sales processes, et cetera, through the product of real estate. So,
you think that systems are important in what you're doing in the business you're in right now?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, without systems, you can't put people in place. You know, they're just gonna be freelancing and going all over the place and not being effective. Now,
we're going to show the audience how your whole setup is and everything. He has tens of people outside right now just working behind the scenes, getting these deals happening. Now, that system outside there, did you work in every single station, for example, every single position to be able to know it, to be able to hire people for it?
Absolutely, yes.
So your advice is do it before you put...
Yeah, you got to delegate to elevate. So you got to, you have to actually understand that system and process before you can put somebody in that seat. Because how are you going to keep somebody accountable on something you've never done before? You know,
like
you can't
the signs you were saying.
Yeah, it's like you can't go and be like, hey, you suck at your job, you're fired, or you're not doing it right when you've never done that process before. I'm not saying you have to work it like full time, but I'm saying you have to understand that process and see how it works, and then develop a system so that person can perform and most importantly grow in that position in order to even offer that position to somebody else. So yeah, I mean, we have over 30 in-house employees now. We have like 60
amount. You don't get stressed out with all those heads on.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
So how does your days look like? What time you waking up? What time you sleeping? Are you constantly thinking of work? Do you have a shut-off valve at 5 p.m.? There's no business anymore?
No, absolutely not.
It's 24/7?
Yeah, it's 24/7. So when I wake up to when I go to sleep, it's kind of my schedule. And it's not as organized as what it should, and I have to work on it. But I mean, I get to the office normally like 11 o'clock and work to, like 9 or 10. And
long hours.
Yeah. But I do try to take Sundays off, but I mean, if business calls. And
are you married? Do you have any family, kids?
I have a girlfriend. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you allocate time for that, of course?
Yeah,
aside from
absolutely.
business?
Yeah.
That's awesome. You said you like to travel a lot.
Oh yeah, I love traveling.
How does that work for you?
So I mean, I travel obviously a lot for business. You know, we do business all over the country, so it's important to network. But
so it's not just Dallas Fort Worth, the business that you do. It's all over.
It's nationwide.
Can you do deals as you're traveling?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, now I have a pretty strong team where, I mean, I took like almost a month off and we toured Asia and business is still running.
That's awesome.
But you know, you gotta learn how to give your team decision power. You know, where I struggled a lot for a long time, I didn't even realize I had like 75% of all decisions through the company had to be ran through me. Now it's about like 25-30%. So
wow, so you minimize it a lot.
Yeah.
So you don't even have to be here and they can be operating their stuff.
Just run. Yeah. So now I mean, I did take a dip. You know, you're gonna take sacrifices in order to grow and scale, so your team can learn and you can learn. But once I did that, now they get better at making those decisions and they make more solid business decisions, and we can continue to scale and grow.
That's awesome. Have you always knew you were gonna do real estate, or was it something that just popped up for you?
I mean, I see my dad dabble in it a little bit in the '08 market, and he did really well for himself. So I always was inspired by that, you know, and it was something that, like, obviously being an entrepreneur, it's not necessarily real estate. It's like I just knew I was gonna win. I just didn't know what company or what I was gonna do, but I knew that I was gonna be successful in some way, you know. I mean, obviously, like when I was a small kid, it's like I want to be an NFL player, you know. I just
You play football?
Yeah, I played football.
I felt like you did.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Was it in high school and such?
Yeah.
That's cool. How was that for you?
It was good, and it taught me how to be competitive. Taught me how to work hard, stop being a bitch.
I feel like you would truck people.
Well, yeah, I got hurt like my sophomore year, and then I started playing more in defense, so I can start fucking people up instead of me getting fucked up. So
that's awesome.
I enjoyed it, man. I love football. I love playing team. I love the atmosphere. I love just the smell of sweat and hard work.
Is that your hobby? You would say football?
Yes and no. I mean, I love watching it, but I mean, I played the other day and I like broke my ankle here, so I wish I could play more of it though.
What's something you do on like your free time when free time is a hard thing to say because there's really not much, but what's something you do when you're just trying to de-stress, trying to relax a bit?
Yeah, so I mean, I really enjoy spending time with my family, you know, as much as I can. Spend time with my girlfriend, spend time with my dog. I love traveling, obviously, so if I can just get up, I mean, sometimes we're really spontaneous, and we just, like before we toured Asia for like 30 days, we booked the trip, like a one-way ticket to Hong Kong.
30-day trip you just booked like that?
Yeah, 3 days before we booked a one trip to Beijing, and then started booking flights and hotels throughout the entire process until it's time to come home.
So why don't you have a YouTube channel to document all this stuff?
It's coming. Oh,
you're gonna make one?
Yeah, we're gonna make one. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so he's gonna be making a YouTube channel. You have the name yet?
No name yet. So yeah,
it's not gonna be your name, right?
No, it's not. Or I mean,
Donovan
it's me and my girlfriend. So we'll figure the name out. I mean, I guess I'll drop in the comments whenever.
Yeah. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put his Instagram. You guys follow him at his Instagram, and then once he releases his YouTube, you're gonna put it on your story, and I'm sure you'll market it.
Yeah, for sure.
And you guys will see it. All right, Donovan, that's really what it is. I wanted to kind of pick your brains in the beginning, kind of see where you came from, show everybody out there that they can do it as well. If they put their mind to it, if they stay persistent, they can make it happen. Do you feel that you're more special than anybody who's watching this video?
No, absolutely not. And it's funny, like I know people that are like 25 plus and still living off their parents and stuff like that. I feel like a lot of times parents do the service to their children, you know, if you got parents out here. I mean, like my top employees, I see patterns like, you know, people that actually earn money as a teenager for themselves tend to work harder and have a little bit better habits and responsibilities just because they learned at an early age through that development process, you know. So I'm not saying it's your parents' fault or somebody else's fault. It's your own fault. I mean, it's your...
It's cutthroat like that.
Yeah, you are the decision maker. It's up to you to do anything. Like your success and failure is entirely up to you, and you have to take responsibility for everything. But what I go through, like I'm in a minority, I caught a felony, like I'm young, I didn't grow up with money, you know, I could give you every excuse in the book on why I shouldn't be winning or why I shouldn't be in the seat.
Yeah.
But you know, I went through those challenges, I went through those tribulations because God is real. God's going to test you. He's going to see if you're capable of overcoming these challenges. He's going to put you to the limit, and then once you overcome these challenges, he's going to be like, okay, now I trust you with more responsibility, with more challenges, with more people, with more responsibility. So people that see a challenge and they just stick their face in front of it or steer themselves away or go do something else, they're never going to win. You know, you got to overcome that challenge and see it as an opportunity for you to scale and grow and learn that process, especially when you're scaling a company. When you overcome a challenge and you and you document that and you understand how to overcome it, you're always going to know how to overcome that challenge.
Yeah.
So when your employee or your teammate comes up to you, it's like, hey, how do I do this? They ask questions, like you see people walk in.
100%.
This is exactly how you do it, and if you don't know, you can ask somebody else, but you understand that process of overcoming that challenge so you can teach somebody else.
I feel like all the people who work with you, they the people that are in the office with you right now, they come into your office asking you questions, but they feel comfortable. I know some people are scared to come ask their boss for questions. Over here, I feel like you created a culture where ask, don't be afraid, and then you're going to get your answer, and then you go dominate after that.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, well, it kind of depends. I mean, if you ask, sometimes people come to you with questions where you got to understand that they have to be problem solvers too. So if you give them too much and you just answer all the questions, then they're just going to come to you because they're looking for the easy way out. You know, it's like, sometimes I look at it as like, you can figure that out for yourself and get it.
Oh, you would tell them straight up?
Yeah, it's just like, figure it out. It's not difficult. You can figure it out. Google it, you know.
Yeah, Google it.
So, I mean, we have this saying in the office, like, you can't walk into my office unless you're wearing a Rolex, which is...
Unless you what?
Unless you have a Rolex. So it's like, until you earn enough to buy a Rolex, you can start come asking me questions.
I love it.
Or don't ask me entry-level questions because, I mean, you can ask somebody else or you can figure it out yourself. So it just kind of depends.
Kind of retracing back to what you said, your time is important. You don't want to be wasting it for things that they could figure out because you have to figure it out and you want them to learn it as well.
Yeah.
Easy route's not always the best route.
I mean, if you think about it, if one person comes to you every hour with one question, you got 30 employees, how many questions do you answer through the day?
Let's say each one takes 5 minutes. There's a couple hours gone.
Exactly.
You're right.
Exactly.
That's intense. All right, Donovan. One thing for the audience that you can leave them all with, doesn't have to be real estate related, doesn't have to be business related, it could be anything that you feel is something you want to give them. I feel like you're real cutthroat, you're straight to the point, you don't sugarcoat stuff, and that's what I love about you. What's something you can leave them all with that they can kind of get inspired from to keep pushing?
I would say the biggest thing is believing in yourself. Your brain works in mysterious ways. Like, you are a product of what you think about. So if you think negative or you think that you can't do something, you're probably not going to do it. So, like, for example, I learned this playing football. Like, if the team didn't believe that they were going to win, we probably didn't win. But if you played a sucky team with a bad record, man, the confidence level was way increased on that bus, and we just knew we were going to win. But the reality of it is, it's just a belief mechanism system that helps you propel yourself to the next level, and you're in full control of your brain. So you have to figure those keys and portions out in your brain to help yourself and have more confidence and believe in yourself to achieve anything. Like, the mind is so powerful that, like, I mean, you look at Donald Trump, like, people hate him and stuff like that. I'm so inspired by that. It's like, man, it's crazy. Like, if Donald Trump can become president, like, man, anything is possible. You know, you can continue to watch all these videos in the world, but the reality of it is, if you don't believe in yourself, you're not going to get very far. But on top of that, you have to take action. You know, you have to actually do the work. Just because you know things doesn't mean that you're going to be successful. You have to apply what you know with action in order to get results. You know, we call them like event junkies or video junkies, or like people come to me all the time. It's like, man, I've been developing myself for so many years. I've been reading all these books. I watched all your videos. I constantly am educating myself, and I still haven't done anything. Well, dumbass, you got to go to work. What have you done to work? It's just like in college. Like, you can study all day long, but if you aren't doing internships like this guy over here, or if you aren't working, what looks better on the resume? It's like, I worked through college and I graduated and I know these things, but I understand the job. What's more valuable versus I have straight A's in college? You see
People are so consumed with knowledge.
People are so consumed with knowledge and they don't want to put in the work.
They don't want to do it.
Knowledge is obviously valuable, and it's probably the most valuable thing, just because people can't take people can take anything from you. You can take money, they can steal, they can take your girlfriend, they can take they can take things from you, but they can't take what you know.
Man, that's so powerful.
They can't take your work ethic. Nobody can take these things away from you that's valuable, you know? So regardless of what excuse you guys have in your brain, understand that knowledge is powerful, but work ethic and taking action is just as powerful. So, yeah.
That was so powerful right there. I love it. I love it. And I'm trying to sink it in because it's not just for the audience, but it's for me as well. It's just an eye-opener. Just to know that it's take the action, because so many people are just learning, but not doing.
Exactly.
And as you can vouch for, execution is it all.
Yeah.
Right? If you can't execute, then you have nothing.
Yeah. And I mean, time is going to go by either way. So if you look at it like the typical statistics, like go to college, get a good job, work 40, 50 years, and 8 hours a day. Why not work 16 hours a day and retire in 20, 25 years?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Time is going to go. If you have to put in a certain amount of work and education to get somewhere, why not just put the time in now so you can just
speed it up.
Speed it up. You can go twice as fast. You see what I'm saying? So I see time is the most important thing in that exact reason, because like we can be sitting somewhere for 3 hours and get nothing accomplished, no progression. You aren't doing anything and taking action, and you're never gonna get that 2 hours back. Versus I just knocked out my entire workday in that 2 hours, now I can do anything. You see what I'm saying?
Solid.
And that's where real freedom comes from, and that like people will see all the time that I have all this time freedom and I'm an entrepreneur. That person paid dues.
Yeah.
That person put in the work. That person overcame those challenges.
You made an Instagram post that I loved. You said, I paid my dues and I'm here. I mean, you're still paying your dues, but you also have moments to be able to realize those dues you paid and kind of enjoy them.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it, man. It's inspiring. Guys, if you don't follow Donovan on his Instagram, you have to. We're going to link it up. I'm going to let Jesse do it. I don't know. I'm going to do something like this. Maybe it'll just pop up right here. Follow him on there. Get inspired. Get motivated. But what he said is take action. You guys can watch videos and binge these all day long and all night long, but I promise you, if you don't move, nothing's going to happen.
Yep.
Donovan, your time is so valuable. I appreciate you making this time for today, for not only myself, but everybody who's watching right now. If you enjoyed this video, guys, remember every single week we post now once. We used to post 3 times. We minimize it to once, and the day is going to be on Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. So if you enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button, and most importantly, like. And right now, me and Donovan, we're out.
Peace.